I'm Mike Dimas, and this is Pinball Shenanigans. What's going on today, Shenaniganders? So, stuff is happening today as usual. Russell, who I lent my cart to, and also sent my boards, me and him sent our boards together to Brent. He is done with the cart, and he just sent me a photo of a Purolator truck in front of his house. So that means he's going to come bring the cart back and my Ice Fever circuit board. So we could be playing Ice Fever by the end of the day. That's exciting. Also, Andrew will be by here pretty soon to finish off Jamie's surprise Cincinnati Bengals room. So we'll show the final product of that. And that's about what's going on today so far. I mean, I just kind of woke up not too long ago. I sound a little stuffy now that I'm starting to talk out loud. But that's okay. We've got lots of shenanigans to come today. There's the photo Russell sent me. Oh, as you can see, I have him marked as Russell Time Warp. That's not his name. It's because a couple years ago I sold him a Time Warp, and that was our first interaction. I think I had fellow shenanigander Henry. He might still be labeled as Henry Lethal Weapon 3, actually, because that was our first communication. But anyway, looks like we're going to get some circuit boards today, so that's awesome. Yeah, and then we can sort out our electrical issues. But yeah, so stay tuned. We'll keep you posted on the action. Hey, look who I found in the Bengals room. Hey, Hooday! Hooday! Hooday in my room! Hooday! All right, so in my room. It's going to happen. The final coat. It's on pretty good right now. And one more coat should do the trick, we're hoping. I mean, we're not putting on more than 3 coats. Like, that's just silly. But, you know, putting orange on brown, it does take some extra action. But, you know, in not too distant future, we should have a finished product. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hooday!
Hey, look, are you the UPS guy? You got a delivery for me? You're wearing brown almost. You could be the UPS delivery guy. Look at this. Yeah.
The only
awesome.
problem is the UPS delivery guy opens the box before you go.
And charges a extra fee.
Oh yeah, super fees. Super fees.
So the cart came in handy, I see.
Cart came in very handy.
Oh, very good.
You got 3 pinball machines in the back of the vehicle.
Yeah,
so.
That's your first time with the new vehicle, right? Cramming 3 machines in, or?
Absolutely.
So you got 1 DMD and a solid state and an EM, so 1 of each, right?
1 of each.
Sweet, man. That's awesome.
You can fit those in a Grand Caravan. Just got to do it right.
Yeah, I need to upgrade the SUV there. Something's trying to fly in here. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for the action. Much appreciated.
Hey, no problem, Mike. You enjoy yourself.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a quick peek inside the box before I head out. I kind of got this prepped here so we can... Here, this is the information. So, what did Brent do to my CPU? Replaced U2 and U3 with a versatile System 80 AB adapter. Programmed and installed ROM 2X of 2764A. And then I said for him, to go ahead and install a lithium battery upgrade kit instead of my super cap, just because it wasn't all that pretty. And since he had possession of the board, let him do that. What did he do on the driver? Replaced Q24 and repaired Q58 connections. Okay. And then the power supply replaced CR5 cap. Is that a cap? Replaced CR7. Replaced R1 resistor. replaced missing Q3 nylon washers. And then the sound was fine, and then, oh, he said my system 11 power supply was 11C, but here it says 11B. But either can't really be used on just straight up system 11, so I'm a little bit sad about that. I thought it was system 11 power supply. I didn't realize they made A, B, C, D, E, F, G power supplies for Williams. Like, slight variations, always improving, always upgrading. Okay, so this is everything here. We'll dig into this later, but yeah, look at this. Russell had to go through all this just to make sure he was, I'm guessing he went through it. Well, it looks like it was rewrapped with my labels, so anyway, we'll deal with that later. But we got boards. Alright, I thought you might find this mildly amusing. So I got a want ad here for pinball machines, and every once in a while I get a ping. 9 out of 10 times it's nothing, but occasionally it's a jackpot. Check this out. Seems you know a lot about pinballs. I have a T2, brand new. Okay. Always in my home. Okay. But it won't kick out balls anymore when I start a game. Any idea? I said, well, it could be many different reasons. It's best if you have someone over there. Where are you located? I might be able to find someone for you, you know, to help out or service them. I don't do service calls, really. I got enough on my own plate. So he says he's in Hamilton, which is, I think, an hour and a half away from here. So I suggested a couple places. Maybe try DC Amusements or Maple Pinball. And he says, okay, thanks. Want to buy it? LOL. See what they say. Thanks again. I'm like, oh, okay. If you are considering selling it, I would be interested, possibly. How much would you be asking for it? And he says, it's brand new, except it won't kick out a ball. What's it worth? $500? Okay, so what we have here is a brand new, apparently home use only, Terminator 2 for $500. Anyone interested in that? How many red flags have you seen so far? I said, can you send photos? I was going to say, it can't be brand new, buddy. It's made in 1992. So, like, what do you mean by brand new? Maybe, I just thought maybe communication barrier. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I didn't really, maybe English is not his first language. So I was just giving the benefit of the doubt. And I was like, okay, can you send photos? I said, oh, not home now. But, oh, wait, let's scroll down a bit. But, brand new. Had it since new. No scratches or anything on it. And I will call to see how much to fix it. It's like, okay. Then I wanted to kind of ask a trivia question. When did you purchase it? And what do you know? I have not heard back. So if Maple Pinball or DC Amusements, if you end up getting buying a like mint brand new like T2 for $500, then I will definitely be kicking myself in the nuts. But I'm suspecting that there's something a little bit strange about this. T2 and brand new. Just not something you use in the same sentence. Always in my home. Is that like his version of home use only? I mean... Uh-oh. Like, he could just mean, in theory, if English is not his first language, that, hey, I've had this machine for a very long time. It's in mint condition. It's always been in my home. I've had it since new. I want $500 for it. I don't know. Nothing adds up here. So, anyways, moving on. All right, we got boards. Okay, so, lots of cool stuff to investigate here. So, firstly, let's turn on the flash. Let's start with the power supply. Okay, I do kind of think I noticed right off the hop, it looks like CR7 was replaced. Let's look at the list here. Power supply, I could be wrong, but oh yeah, look, CR5 and CR7 were replaced, as well as R1 and Q3. So, okay, CR5 and CR7. So CR7 definitely was burnt up at some point, so that's good that that's replaced. That is actually a diode, not a capacitor, like I mentioned earlier. And then CR5, where's CR5? Oh, right here. Okay, so that doesn't look like that was burnt up, but CR5 has been replaced for whatever reason. Brent must have found that to be faulty. So, and then it says R1. Now, R1 is probably a resistor. Do we see where R1 is? Ah, this guy here. Okay, so that guy's been replaced. Interesting. And then Q3, I believe, that's Q1. Okay, so where is Q3 then? Oh, this guy here, Q3. Missing nylon washers, which means that somebody has had this apart at some point, because those nylon washers, if I recall, they go in between. I don't know if we're going to be able to see them. And they prevent, I believe, the transistor casing from shorting to the backing bracket thingamajiggy. And I know this because I forgot a nylon washer once and blew up my power supply after spending 2 days restoring it, because I am not very good at doing things fast and efficiently that I don't have a lot of experience with. So, yeah, very important. See, that's why when I decide to send one board to Brent, I just say screw it and I send them all. As we talked earlier, the soundboard had no issue, so that is good. Then we'll move on to the driver board. Okay, so what does it say here for the driver? He replaced Q24 and Q58 connections. So Q24, I mentioned to him that I had one of my lights was not working, and I told him the socket and bulb were good, so it was probably a transistor. Boom, there it is, Q24. Remember my little hockey mask dude on the middle left side of the playfield and in front of one of those targets? Well, hopefully that resolved that. And then he said where did it go? Driver, the Q58 connection. So I am guessing that is this guy, Q58, because I don't think I showed you this before, but Q58 has seen some, you could cook your toast on that once upon a time. It's seen some heat, and he went over and beefed up the connection, so that's pretty sweet. And then we can move on to the brains of the operation here, the CPU. Okay, so removed my little funky looking memory cap, which totally is sufficient. It's just not quite as pretty as the whatchamacallit, lithium watch style battery. Well, maybe not watch is the word, but lithium battery there. So that looks nice and neat and tidy. And then what else? It says, okay, so now on a lot of the system, I thought it was 80Bs, they started using some daughter board thingamajiggy. Now on my system 80A, I don't think there was a daughter board setup like this, but these daughter boards and these zones are notorious for having bad solder joints on system 80A and, well, B especially. And Brent, I think, said he designed this once. I remember in a previous conversation he designed this little versatile system 80AB adapter with a new ROM in there. So I believe this is Brent's handiwork here, and part of the issue is that the solder joints on the original ones from these pins here, they're on the underside of this daughter board, and in order to reflow the pins underneath here, you need to remove the daughter board. And as you can see, there's a lot of traces that one could screw up by trying to remove an original daughter board to reflow, flip that over, all the pins on the game ROM. So I don't mess with that, and that's a nice little sweet bonus there. That's all beefy, and that's probably why my machine was locking up, I am guessing. And that's basically it. So, oh yes, and he also sent me, check this out, a 7432 chip, 7432 chip, because I have this display here, 4-digit, that came from my black hole. And once upon a time, well, right when I powered up black hole, my display fuse blew, and then when I replaced the fuse, I noticed the segments were locked on, the bottom right segments. And I read that that is a 7432 chip, which is right here. So I'm going to pop this guy out, pop this guy in, see if that fixes my locked on segments, and if so, then we can test this in Ice Fever and see if it has dimness or brightness. This worked fine in black hole. So if it's dim when I stick it in there, then it's probably connector related. Unless it was somehow board related, which I highly doubt. I think it's just a connector related, or the display itself. But anyway, so let's stick in some boards and see what happens. Or you know what, actually, I have to finish with the flippers. Let's not start something new before I finish something old. But check this out in this shenanigander fashion. Do you see this little screw popping through right there? Yeah, well, somehow I missed a screw here. Either it was already removed or I removed it. It kind of holds this bracket to this plate here. So now I must remove my whole flipper assembly in order to get a screw in there. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to line the flippers. I'm going to tighten them up, check the end of stroke switches, add my red silicone flipper rubbers, get everything aligned all happy, and check those out after. Once that is all said and done, we'll stick in some boards. Stay tuned. Oh yeah, and also in shenanigander fashion, when I was cleaning up, I noticed I have a brand new coil stop on my table back there, which means that probably the left flipper has the old coil stop on it, so I gotta check that out and install the new coil stop. So, a couple steps backwards as usual. Okay, here's the latest in the Terminator 2 saga. So, he did reply to me when I said, when did you purchase it? He said, 42 minutes later, in the early 90s. Oh, the guy is coming on the weekend to look at it. Said it may be a couple $100 to fix. It's like, oh, very cool. Who did you end up calling? And, well, he didn't reply to me. And remember, I suggested, when I thought it was just a service call, that, maybe try DC Amusements or Maple Pinball. So just for fun, I texted Shane Jackson of Maple Pinball, and he called back because he was driving, and we ended up chatting, and no, he got no such call. But he did tell me about, he was doing some, I think, assessment of a pinball machine for an insurance something or other, and it was on a taxi that wasn't working. And it was in very nice condition. We turned it on. It said failure adjust or adjustment failure, so you knew the batteries weren't working. And they seemed to think that they had some sort of $50,000 gem. Well, as it turns out, it was actually an immaculate, like potentially home use only taxi. Oh, I should bring up photos. Oh, maybe I'll do that in a minute. But, yeah, okay, give me 1 second. Okay, check this out. I actually found it pretty easily. Look at this taxi. I don't know how well you can see through my lens through the laptop, but this, obviously the long story short is that Shane ended up buying this taxi, and not for $50,000. It was a reasonable, like, few $1,000 or something like that. But so yeah, I went from $50,000 to an actual reasonable number, but it turned out that this thing is just the mintiest. Oh, look at that. Wow. Mintiest taxi in original condition, like not touched, boards not messed with. He said there was even like no carbon dust on the flippers. Let's see, how do they look? Yeah, so maybe like the batteries failed very early in its life, and I don't know, they never got to play it, but that is untouched condition. That's not like the after, that is the before. That is how we got it. So anyway, yeah, Shane wasn't called for this Terminator 2, and yeah, he was telling me about how he acquired this minty taxi, so that's pretty cool. And then as a side note, I just was texting with DC Amusements, Dan from DC Amusements, and nope, he didn't hear anything about any T2 within the last little bit. So I don't know, bluff might be called on that one. Oh, anyway, so flippers. Back to the flippers. Okay, so let's throw my flash back on. I removed the bracket, installed that screw, and I tightened up and aligned my flipper bats. Check it, end of stroke, switch adjustments. Boom, both sides are perfect. Well, I think not exactly 1/8, which is recommended, but again, that's a fine adjustment. You want to make sure there's enough tension when closed, but enough gap when open. So I think I got that all resolved and happy, and I will show you the top side. All right, there's the top side of the flipper action, the new bats. I had to clean them up a little bit because my fingers were so dirty yesterday from rebuilding the flippers, but they're nice and shiny white with the new silicone rubbers on there, and then oh, they just move so nice. They return so nice. They're snappy. I replaced that coil stop too that I screwed up and put in the old one, but look at the symmetry. It's so nice and symmetrical. There is the original coil stop I had in there. Oops, that's all fixed up. So now we got add screw and flipper bracket, align flippers, adjust end of stroke switches, that's all done. Now I'm going to mess with that one pop bumper switch, just try and make it a little more happy. I'm going to move the switch stack down. If you watched the last video, you'll know what I was talking about. This one I want to just try and readjust that a smidge more by moving the whole switch stack down a bit. And then it'll be circuit board time. Alright, check this out. Boards are installed. Remember, I already had a freshly refurbished power supply, so I did not need to install the one I just got back. Although it's green and would technically match better, but we don't care about that. We care about functionality. So they are all installed. Now I didn't attach any of the ground mods because remember we had a little issue after I attached my ground mods. We're gonna maybe, you know, take a ground mod one at a time and touch it to the power supply bracket and see if my pop bumpers tend to lock on. That's if we even get that far. First things first is let's power this thing on. Make sure none of my ground wires are touching anything, because that could just be another trip to Brent to fix stuff that I blew up if that happens. Oh, dehumidifier's full. Okay, also my empties bin is full too. That's got to go to the beer store. All right, so here we go. Let's turn this guy on. Wait, I need to grab a new ball and clean off the oil and stick it in. I'll be right back. All right, ball is installed. Here we go. let's hope we don't hear any locking on of any coils for starters. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hey, look at that. First thing I noticed. Boom. That light does now work with the changing of that transistor. Factory high score is on the displays. They're all nice and crispy and beautiful, except for the credit display, which we know we have an issue with that. We're in a track mode. Everything so far so good. Let's do something interesting and touch this wire to here, see if anything happens. No. Soundboard wouldn't do anything. CPU. Pop bumpers aren't locking on when I do that. What if I touch these together? It's kind of scary doing that a little bit. I don't want to blow up my freshly restored boards. And I have the reset board disconnected. I discussed that in an earlier video. It's usually more trouble than it's worth to have connected. Okay, so all my light bulbs so far appear to be holding up. None of them went out. I don't think shoot again goes off in a track mode. Okay, well, let's hit the start button. Oh wait, I'm going to need to add credits. So let's get the old jumper wire out. And short these switches together. We should hear some sounds. What? Not hearing sound. Let's try this side. Huh. Why aren't we hearing any credit tune sounds? Let's hit the start button. See what happens. Nothing. Okay. Remember I did solder this wire on. Is it possible that I screwed something up? Okay. I'm going to figure out why I can't add credits, and I will be right back. Okay, you want to know the dumbest thing ever? And weirdest and funniest and shenanigandous? Okay, first of all, I just kind of took the coin mecha out. It was held in with a couple screws, so I didn't really like it anyway. I don't know, maybe I'll stick it back in, maybe I won't. Don't really need it. So anyway, I was like, okay, they're not working. I was manually activating the switches. Nothing's happening. I'm like, I must have forgotten a connector. So I come over here and I go to reach. That's always bad, the way I set that up. For this zone here, which appears to be a missing connector, and I hit this ground wire. It actually hits the CPU, and I hear the credit up sound. So, what the F? Like, did I hit the exact circuit that is a coin up? How is that even possible? Anyway, I missed a connector. That will be my switches, I'm assuming. So, let me put that together and actually, let's see if I literally actually added a credit by slapping the ground wire onto the CPU from the driver. Hopefully that didn't screw anything up. I mean, it shouldn't. I should have just closed a switch, I guess, if it hit like maybe one of these. I think it hit around this area. So if these are like responsible for switches, maybe I just happened to close the credit switch. Like, would that be the most ridiculous thing in the history of shenanigans? I'm going to hit the start button. I know I heard the coin up sound, so let's see. Maybe that was just like I just triggered the sound effect. No, that would come from the soundboard. Here we go. Wait. Huh. No. Okay, so it didn't actually add a credit, but I got the credit sound. Okay. Oh, because the start button isn't going to work, because it's probably tied to that switch. Anyway, never mind. It's all shenanigans. That's what you came here for, right? Okay, I put that connector on. Let's turn on the machine. Ah, there's the sound of a solenoid resetting the target bank. But we can still test the theory that if I accidentally added a credit by slapping that wire onto the CPU, because the battery should have preserved the state. We can't see with this stupid display how many credits are on there, but in theory, there should be one. Maybe. Let's see. Ha! That's crazy. Okay. That's a good start. Cool. So, can you believe that? That's ridiculous. Out of all the things I could do, slapping that wire accidentally into somewhere around here, I literally added a credit. That's just so ridiculous. I can't even comprehend the volume of shenanigans that was. Okay, moving on. Let's try this again and see if it locks on pop bumpers. Nope, okay. I don't know. We're gonna maybe, Jim Wilkes suggested I measure to see if there's any voltage coming off of any of these. And maybe I screwed up one of the ground wires somehow, which is very likely. So we'll do that. We're gonna leave those for now. And let's just try our first kind of gameplay since we first set it up and it actually worked. And see if anything's changed. Did I ever show you my red shooter tip? All right. We're live. Of course, the pitch is super slow. Okay. Oh, yeah. Some good action. Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. Whoa! My flipper stopped working. I probably blew a fuse. I don't know why that happened, but something's awry. Oh, I hear it buzzing. What's going on here? Okay, I feel like that might be an end of stroke switch adjustment. Anyway, so this is where all the dialing and tweaking comes in. So some good progress. It's not freezing up on me anymore. We're still in gameplay mode, and I still hear the fans roaring, so I'm going to see what's going on with this flipper, and then mess with those ground wires, check the pop bumpers. We can check the pop bumpers now, actually. Let's see. This is the spot that I think is going to be a dud. Oh, that's not bad. And I want to make sure none of the pop bumpers are sticking. And I want to make sure they're nice and sensitive and not too sensitive. You know what? I'm kind of loving what I'm seeing right now. I had a feeling, I thought this might be a little duddish at the top, but look at that. It's going well. Oh, spinner. I gotta lube my spinner still. I always lube my spinners. Come on. Let's see. It's actually pretty good without, but you gotta lube your spinners. Yeah, okay, well, damn, that's pretty sweet. Let's check some switches. That works. Yep. Drop targets. This. Oh, extra ball. Let's try and get that. Quite the sound. Let's score a goal. Cool. Yeah, alright. Well, let's see if the spinner light will light here, and then we can rip it. No? Okay, so this light is not working. Is there any rebound switches? Let's check our sling sensitivity. I thought I got them pretty good. Oh yeah. Cool. Let's check this guy. I'm pretty happy with that. That's okay. That's okay. I might want to go with thinner post rubbers because that's a very tight lane there, and that could make for a very long playing game. So I might tighten up, I guess loosen up those out lanes a little bit. But, yeah, let's drain, see what happens. That's cute. Bonus collect sound. Okay. So, wow, this is shaping right up. Oh, that's what I forgot to check. Was the one-way gate here. Let's see if that works. Yep. Hey, that's the same tag team sound for the same zone. Okay. And are there any... No, there's no rebound switches like, you know, the 10-point guys. I think I've checked every switch. So all I've got to do is this light bulb and the right flipper, and then ground wires and see what happens. So that's pretty sweet. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I installed smaller post rubbers to make that just a little bit bigger. If I find it still too long of gameplay, I will remove those rubbers altogether. And what I'm going to do this sort of systematically, I've got the power supply and the soundboard grounded to the metal plate. So I guess I'll just turn it on and see if anything funky happens in that state. I don't think anything will happen, but who knows? It's Gottlieb. Okay, everything seems to be good there. All right, I'll start. Oh, E. I need to. Oh, that was just off, wasn't it? I gotta check on that E as well. All right, check this out. I got all of my grounds tied to the frame of the power supply, and now all connected, running down to common ground that ends up at the transformer panel. And pop bumpers are not locking on. So I'm gonna start a game, see if they lock on. I don't think they should. I don't know why they did in the first place. It could have just been that one of those switches, one of those skirts was kind of stuck down. Oh, look at that. What's going on here? Okay, so the vibration of this pop bumper is causing this one to fire because, oh, and that stuck down. Holy shit, I think they're all going off. That wasn't happening before. What happening before, was it? Whoa. I'm gonna blow a fuse, aren't I? Huh. I think it's because I have them so close together. So I can get this to pop without the other ones popping sometimes. Maybe this one too. Yeah, maybe this one. Interesting. Yeah, I thought I heard a double pop once during my testing. So, I don't think I have any sort of issue pertaining to the ground mods. That's the main thing I was testing. So I think my ground mods are fine. It's not so pitchy right now. Okay, so I'm concluding at the moment that all my ground mods are happy and fine and dandy, and that my pop bumpers are adjusted a little too sensitive, which is the way I like them, but you don't want one pop bumper causing the other two to fire. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not ideal. So, I'm gonna tweak those a little bit and then check on those two light bulbs. Alright, where was I? Oh, I was going to adjust pop bumpers, but then I remember the right flipper stopped working. So what I did was grab my little file here, and just in case it's the cabinet switch, I filed that guy. Now, let's see if it works. Can I start a game without the ball in there? Let's turn it on. See if we can start a game up. Seems like we're good. Probably got to wait for some flipper enable relay, maybe? No? Yes? Okay, let's try the left side. Yeah. Are we not allowed to play yet until it thinks there's a ball in the trough? There we go. We kicked the ball out into the shooter lane, the fake ball. So now it's going to let us play. Let's see, hit a switch and see if we're live. Okay, we're good. So now, let's try the left flipper. Okay, so, and we can also really double check our end of stroke switch, make sure it's far enough apart. Here, let's zoom right in. Not sure I'm loving. It would be kind of nice to be a little further apart, but I think it's okay. Now, let's try the right side and see what's going on here. Nothing. Oh wait, no. What's happening? Somehow, the right flipper is giving me points. Not sure why that is. Did any of the wires come off, or the diode? Let's see. Let's push on the end of stroke switch. Let's zoom out. Gonna push on it while holding my phone, while using my knee to flip. Yeah, so it's just the end of stroke switch isn't closed tight enough, so the power isn't really getting through there. So that should be an easy adjustment. So I'm gonna fix that, tweak some pop bumpers, and go from there. Okay, I don't know if you can tell or if I'm just seeing things, but those switch blades are like the top one's over to the right a bit. So they're not perfectly centered. So I'm gonna loosen up these screws, center that, and then adjust it. But I noticed that on the other switch, that the blades, like, they could move a little bit left and right, and so you really gotta, I guess, crank on these screws pretty tight. But I did that, but I gotta make sure that the blades are nice and perpendicular to each other, or horizontal or parallel, before tightening. So that could be part of the problem too. Boom, just found a quarter from actually 1975. That one is almost as old as I am. All right, I just moved some furniture around and did a quick vacuum. Here is the finished product. Oh yeah, that is some serious orange. Oh, let me pan out here. There we go. Now the room itself is obviously a work in progress, but this is Jamie's feature wall right there. Yeah. Look at that. All right. You think she'll be excited? I think she'll be pretty friggin' stoked, because it's so much better than poo brown. All right. Oh yeah, and there's the quote unquote black electrical cover. It's really brown, but it goes well. Instead of what was on there before, worn down white Ottawa Senators from when her son lived here. But that's the new action right there. Oh yeah.